Hello, YouTube family. Welcome to an awesome interview. I was going to be joined by Michael Wagner, but he is unavailable right now. So we have an awesome, though, guest, co-founder of Star Atlas. Could not be happier to be joined by Pablo. How do you say your last name?
Yeah,
Quiroga?
Quiroga. Yeah,
Quiroga.
Quiroga.
All right.
Yeah.
Pablo Quiroga, co-founder of Star Atlas. So in today's video, we want to talk about this first Galactic asset offering in the world of Star Atlas. Talk about like what exactly these ships are going to be. But before we get into that, since this is the first time you've been on my channel, Pablo, how about you give us a little bit of a background on yourself, and why you first got excited to become a part of or co-found Star Atlas?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, first off, I've seen your videos and really excited to be on and speaking with your community.
Cool.
You've been really covering a lot of the happenings at Star Atlas, so it's always exciting to meet face to face
Hmm.
with more community members. So yeah, my name is Pablo Quiroga. I'm the co-founder and chief revenue officer at Star Atlas. And a little bit about my background. I won't go all the way back to my mother's room or anything like this, but um, I've spent time in working for family offices in private equity, specifically for building management portfolios for the mining industry. This is like way back in 2009, 2010. So I spent a lot of time in Peru. I was born in Peru, originally from there, but my
Okay.
parents, they moved to the States when I was young. So
Hmm.
I grew up in the States. My Peruvian friends tell me that I'm more American than a Coca-Cola. But yeah, so I spent some time in private equity, and then I've also am an entrepreneur at heart and have led small companies and startups, and have gone through incubators and accelerators,
Hmm.
have exited out of companies.
Hmm.
But when things really got interesting for me in a sense of working in a new industry, new environment, new market, was in the cannabis space. So
Okay.
around 2016, 2017, I was also a chief revenue officer for a smaller group at the time, where we would build cannabis extraction facilities all over the world.
Hmm.
So I got to work with a lot of engineers and scientists and technologists,
Hmm.
working on extraction formulas for pharmaceutical, medical grade
Hmm.
extractions,
Hmm.
and then also adult use extractions.
Okay.
Um, so after that, I really got to learn a lot about plant-based medicine, and
Hmm.
started looking at the psychedelic space actually. So mental health is a big global pandemic.
Hmm.
Um, from deep health issues to also very important and deep ones, as we know, as depression.
Hmm.
And so I'm always really interested in different modalities and use cases that can address those things.
Hmm.
So I'm an early investor in psychedelic companies and have launched a digital platform in that space as well. I've
Cool.
actually known Michael Wagner, the CEO and co-founder of Star Atlas, since about like 2016,
Okay.
and he was really the very few people that I've known that has been in blockchain and crypto for a very long time.
Hmm.
Um, so we always stayed in touch. Reconnected last year, and I started learning a little bit more about the ideation of Star Atlas.
Hmm.
And so Michael has been working with Danny and Jacob Floyd, since that time of 2016, 2017. So when I learned about Star Atlas, the three of them had already ideated the AAA title game,
Hmm.
and really focused on leveraging blockchain for this.
Yeah.
But when I first heard of it, what really got me excited was the ability to build out this alternative, digital life.
Hmm.
And that was, the gaming side is exciting, and I think it's definitely, um, very important for what we're doing.
Hmm.
But I guess what really caught my attention was the ability to create a parallel universe.
Yeah.
And I guess it comes from, like, I did a lot of research in Second Life back in 2008 in my undergrad, because I had a professor of mine actually, from Harvard. I'd studied at Rollins, and he was coming in from Harvard, and he was like a consultant for Toyota to
Okay.
invest in Second Life. And so this concept of, big legacy industry companies like Toyota from Japan being able to, have some skin in the game in digital worlds in 2008 was like, what? Like,
Yeah.
what does that actually even mean? Right. So I remember going into Second Life and, hanging out there and looking at billboards, but looking at it as like new business models. Um, Time has come by, as we know it, Moore's law. Technology is
Yeah.
expanding at 2 seconds per second. And now I think we truly have the technology to make this come to life in a very, very different way, and in a way that it has the potential to impact billions of people worldwide.
Yeah.
So the more of this concept of a metaverse is what really got me excited. And so, yeah, jumped in and haven't looked back ever since.
Yeah. Yeah, that's so cool. Thanks for sharing that. One of the things that gets me most excited about this idea of a second life, of a metaverse, now that like you said, technology has been improving at such a clip, is the fact that like there's this a new level of realism through actual ownership, through real currencies. And that's what the blockchain has enabled, which is going to allow Star Atlas, honestly, to reach a level of realism that Second Life never could.
Yeah, so there's the underlining alien technology, as our CTO likes to describe it, and that's leveraging blockchain and NFTs in this case, and DeFi. And then there's also the cosmetic side, the aesthetic side, right? Which is UE5 in our case.
Yeah.
And what's exciting is what's coming in the future, which are things like, sensory technology, right? So other ways that will impact our senses in these experiences, VR experiences. So, the moment that I can start smelling the ocean, the digital ocean, in my office,
Yeah.
in a building, is going to be quite the experience, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's one aspect of it, but there's also a lot of technology that's pushing this whole parallel universe forward.
Yeah.
Not just blockchain and crypto.
So, to be just completely honest, like you guys have some of the most incredible artwork of any blockchain project to date. Like it is absolutely gorgeous. But when I like first started like digging into how ambitious the actual gameplay side of this was going to be as well, I was thinking to myself, like, there's no way they can make a game that is this beautiful with this much actual rich gameplay mechanics, like within the next decade. And then I started researching, though, what Unreal Engine 5 actually is going to be enabling creators to produce, and how much like less man hours it takes for something more beautiful. And like then my mind started getting blown, because then I was like, wait, maybe they can actually make something this beautiful with this rich of gameplay mechanics. Can you talk about Unreal Engine 5 a little bit more, and how that is enabling Star Atlas to build something this beautiful and like actually have it come out in a reasonable amount of time?
Sure. I'm not going to pretend. My education around UE5 is elementary,
Okay.
to say the least. But my research, though, in this short amount of time, is that I'll give you an example. Like, there are companies that are building, that are integrating into UE5 and to optimize the UE5 platform, right, and out of the box infrastructure. As an example, there's a company out there that's creating technology for 3D scanning of real analog physical spaces. So let's say that your business model was within the Unreal Engine and gaming vertical, and I wanted to buy or have a 3D scanner put it up on a plane or on a drone,
Mm-hmm.
and go scan the Grand Canyon,
Mm-hmm.
right? So imagine scanning the Grand Canyon and then being able to upload that scan in files so
Mm-hmm.
that you can replicate it in UE5 immediately,
Yeah. Just
instead of hiring designers inside of and trying to recreate the Grand Canyon,
mm-hmm.
right? So it's a much quicker way to create these environments if that's something that interests you, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So then my mind goes to, okay, really cool. We're building planets and universes out there.
Yeah.
How far are we from owning a small satellite? And with this satellite, we can scan, a planet or what have you, right? And understand the terrain of a real planet, right?
Yeah.
Above our heads, instead of just imagining in science fiction of what it's going to look like.
Yeah. And,
so that's just one example,
mm-hmm. And then so you're saying we go out there, scan actual planets, and then when you're in the metaverse, when you're exploring and you see a planet off in the distance, like you could literally be visiting a actual planet that exists in our galaxy, and like see how the terrain might actually look if you were truly visiting that planet.
Yeah, like the Google Maps for planets,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay.
It's just super interesting. But different ways that we're leveraging UE5 is, subject matter expertise, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the way that our approach is, internally we have subject matter expertise around UE5, around game development, around smart contracts, around blockchain, in particular Solana, and non-agnostic approach to this. But then, we can also add and, multiply our efforts and calories by onboarding other teams that we're currently enlisting, to build out different parts and different components of the game.
Yeah.
Right. So Nanite, definition, it's like, it's so realistic walking through these environments, like you've seen in the Pierce X4 commercial, that you have companies like BMW and Mercedes using these, this tech for commercials instead of having real cars and,
Yeah. But before I forget, I need to give a shout out to Sylvia for putting this together and making sure this could still happen. But just to add to what you were saying, the Mandalorian show that Disney produced, literally a lot of the environments in that show were generated in Unreal Engine 5. Like, they've started using a game engine to generate environments in TV shows because of just how good it looks. And you can do it so much faster than an animator coming in and like literally creating it in the traditional way that they used to do it for TV shows. So like,
Sure.
It's insane the power of this engine. All right, but let's. Unless do you have something you want to add there?
Yeah, no. The teaser trailer was using CGI, right? The Pierce X4 video was created using UE5, right? And if we put these things side by side and we think about the effort put into both videos, you're going to see a lot of difference, right? And I think there's use cases for both, and there's a little bit of experience difference in both. At least this is my personal opinion. But I think as UE5 still comes out of its beta phase, I don't know. I think UE5 is a path that is very, very exciting.
Yeah, it definitely is. All right, so now let's shift focus. I think the vision behind Star Atlas, everyone has bought into this vision because it's so cool, and we desire that this second life would really exist, and some of the concepts behind this game are just so cool. But there's a big launch happening tomorrow, literally like about 24 hours from now. So talk a little bit about what exactly is launching tomorrow and why it's a big deal for Star Atlas.
Yeah, absolutely. Star Atlas is I think is a place that we've all dreamt about, and it's an experience that we've all have wanted to experience and are literally looking for, right? We just haven't found it, and so we have this opportunity to really define that together.
Yeah.
So tomorrow is exciting. It's exciting because the Galactic asset offering has been dropped on our white paper for a really long time, and we've been talking about it for a really long time.
Yeah.
So the momentum that we currently have right now in the market is one that is very supportive by the community, and we're moving into this stage where we can actually showcase the things that we've been working on for such a long time and talking about, right? So yeah, tomorrow it basically starts off with faction enlistment.
Okay.
So it will be the first time where users can select or endorse, their faction. So you're going to be able to join a faction, where you're going to need a faction passport, and there will be benefits according to each faction that you select. Interesting activity currently happening. You have guilds and clans that are forming that have already disclosed which factions they're going to be associated with in our Discord. So if you want to learn more about what the sentiment is out there, definitely head to Star Atlas's Discord.
Yeah, the Discord is linked in the description, by the way, for anyone who wants to check it out.
Yeah, so the choices there are going to be the Oni, the Ooster, and Mud.
Okay.
So there will be implications for selecting a faction. Some of these, most of them are going to be disclosed in the process of your journey of selecting the faction. You'll have some stats to look at. Of course, you're going to see what the lore and the aesthetic is of each faction. I don't want to say too much, but the faction enlistment is going to be part of this.
Okay. The three factions are like AI, alien, and human, right? It's kind of at their core.
So, I mean, I can speak to a little bit, behind each one of them. Just a tad bit. I mean, first you have the Ooster sector, right? And the species is Ooster. And so in the case of Ooster, they're a race of androids that spawned by this advanced multi-generational AI, like you said. And they like to express themselves through this physical, kind of like robot form. And they're kind of like, the way I've always described them as kind of like these monks that have come down from the Himalayas, that have been meditating for a really long time.
Yeah.
So they're really cool, mixed with a little bit of like a bartender,
Okay.
This like shaman bartender who's like easy to communicate with, very, will always be listening to you and this sort of thing, and then can kind of give you some sage advice. That's my interpretation of it.
Yeah.
But yeah. And then the other one is the Oni region, which is the second faction. Not in a particular order, that's just the second faction. And then in the Oni region, there are other species like the Fodolai, the Punab, the Myris, and Sogmian. And we actually haven't released the visual for the faction leader. Really cool. You guys, everyone, it's a super, super exciting one.
That's releasing tomorrow.
You'll see in the faction selection journey, you will be able to, you'll be aware of these things. And then the lore behind the Oni is, I mean, it's, for right now, all I can really say, it's a consortium of different aliens, right? And it's going to be a lot of fun as well. A lot of cool vibes. Think of like, and this is not to compare, but just imagine, I guess maybe the energy and the feeling of it is from the movie Avatar. How these blue alien species were very connected to, to Earth, right? Or the nature, right? And they even had this, storyline of how all of the trees and all of the nutrients, they were all interconnected and they communicated with each other, right?
Yeah.
Which is, it's, to me, it's a reference to mycelium. And I've always referenced blockchain as the mycelium of technology.
Yeah. I watched the Fantastic Fungi show And
Oh yes, that's one of my
yeah,
favorite movies by
yeah.
Paul Stamets is on that. So yeah,
Mhm.
amazing. Yeah, yeah. So yeah, think of like the Onis are like that. They have that sort of vibe.
Mhm. Mhm.
And then you have the Mud Territory, which is the third faction.
Mhm.
And the species we're disclosing as of now is the humans, right?
Mhm.
Um, so yeah, those are the three factions.
How come the humans are mud? Is it because we live on planet dirt?
Um, no, I think there's a little bit more to it, and I'll wait for you guys to find out
All right,
tomorrow.
all right. Sounds good. So that's part of what's launching tomorrow. The faction decision, choosing who you're
Yep.
gonna ally yourself with in the world of Star Atlas. But then the second thing that's happening is the asset offering, the first available like ships and stuff like that. So yeah, you want to talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, no, for sure. So then we're kind of moving into um, the Galactic asset offering, right?
Hmm.
Um, and if you can go to play.staratlas.com right now,
Here,
and
I'll
you'll be
bring it
able to
up actually,
see,
so people can
yeah, sure,
check it
you'll
out.
be able to see the rewards that we dropped from the rebirth tiers, and you'll be able to see kind of like these ships that are there. Um, the we're basically approaching the Galactic asset offering in waves. So I won't go into too much detail here, but tomorrow we'll have about 5 different ships that are going to be dropped.
Hmm.
Um, we've circulated and shared a brochure that has more information around the ship categories and the sizes and
Yeah.
a little bit of the utility. Um, Tomorrow you'll have a little bit more lore for each ship, um, the utility of it, and some of the specs that are around each ship. But what we're trying to figure out too is like without sharing too much, like how can we give you the sense of scale?
Hmm.
Um, because you have something like the Pier X4, which is pretty easy to understand, right? You have
Yeah.
you have kind of like the future motorcycle, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
You grab on it and you go. But then some of these Titan ships are just like literally the size of the United States,
Hmm.
right? So
Hmm.
like how can we really grasp that, right? Like how do we
Yeah.
really understand that? How do we really understand that you're going to be able to create your own businesses in there to generate your own revenues,
Hmm.
right? Aside from just playing the game, you'll have this feature set to create that parallel universe independently.
Hmm.
um, and so it's also going to be for us a learning curve to disclose and to tell that story.
Yeah. Okay, so let's get into the different ships and sizes a little bit and the capabilities. So the small ships, it says on the brochure that they range anywhere from $15 to $1,200. And if you look at the asset info, like some of them are racers, some of them are fighters, some of them are bounty hunters. What is going to be the capability of these small ships?
Yeah, sorry, I have background noise on my end, so I apologize. But um, there's different use cases for all of them, and
Hmm.
for some of these like smaller ships, um, just think about them in the context of either war or the mining aspect of it, right?
Hmm.
Logistics, like how you're going to run the strategy on protecting security. So different ways that you're going to utilize these ships. It has a something for everything, mobilizing other carriers,
Hmm.
security, logistics, manufacturing, strategizing. Some of them are the size of like drones, right? So they're these
Hmm.
like stealth flyers that you can put out there that are autonomous. You don't even need a pilot.
Hmm.
You can just put them out. Yeah. So there's different use cases for all of them.
All right. So then when we get down past the small ships to the medium and large ships, some of these ships you're actually going to need crews for, correct?
Yep. Mm-hmm. Yes.
And those crews, are they going to be like, do they have to be manned by other players, or are you going to have like AI crews? How is that
Yeah.
going to work? Like if you're a solo player, is it worth
Yeah.
buying a medium or large ship or not?
Yeah, no, it's a great question, and I think there's going to be something in between there, right? Because there's guilds that have asked us the same thing. It's like, okay, I have 30,000 players in my guild,
Mm-hmm.
and I need to activate them, right?
Yeah.
Are we going to be able to utilize them in the mid to extra large ships,
Mm-hmm.
the Titans, and how can we do that? So there's a middle ground. You'll be able to automate portions of it, and then other portions are going to be manual.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So then going out all the way to like these Titan ships, which you said are the size of the United States. And I'm thinking about how like deep space is going to work in Star Atlas. Like, is a smaller medium ship really going to have any chance of not just getting absolutely blown to smithereens if you go out into the furthest reaches of space? Like I'm picturing like a little like 1 or 2 or even 3-man ship up against this massive Titan. It's like, I guess you just hope you can run away fast.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think for me, it's power not just in size but also numbers. So I don't know, man. You there's in nature, you have whales that go after these smaller fish, and the smaller fish have innately found out that they just need to mimic a giant, triple the size of the whale, right?
Yeah.
and only a few of them die, but the majority get away and they win.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. We'll see what happens out there.
Yeah, it's possible. Sorry, keep going. Okay, I was going to say it's possible that like some of these Titan ships, they might just be so large that they don't care about the tiny little ship that's like in too close for the guns to reach them, just kind of tagging along. And then maybe that little ship, it's like safety, even though they're not allied with this Titan ship. When the Titan ship blows stuff up, they try to scavenge a couple things and stay alive.
Yeah, like I mean, I don't know. There's different ways in that that you can engage in, let's just call it battles or war, right? So I don't know. I mean, you could use smaller ships to draw out different things that you want to find out from these bigger planes, right? Like how trigger happy are they, right? Like how is this pilot and these generals acting, right? So you send out the losing horses. You're going to lose them, but you want to find out strategy, right? It's a big strategy thing. So
yeah,
we're going to send these losing planes, but more importantly, the value is understanding how that bigger plane or the other team's going to react.
Yeah,
strategy. There's like crazy strategy in this, man. It's definitely. Like real world tactics, and it's not just like ramming the ram head on, right? It's calculating, is it going to rain, or how is this ship going to react if there's different information that we can get from them. So
yeah,
I'm interested in the deeper stuff of like, I wonder how many moles there's going to be in different guilds, right? Like, can you imagine like moles and guilds and finding out tactics? And I wonder how teams are going to protect the information in their strategy.
Yeah,
I hear there's some crazy stories out there from like the EVE Online gamers, and how they interact with each other. Like, it's really intense.
Like, imagine how much even more intense EVE would be, though, if the in-game currency was a cryptocurrency and if all the ships were assets on the blockchain. Like, it would. We're gonna find out. Yeah, we're gonna find out. Which is so cool. Okay, so I know that one thing that people are wondering who are curious about buying ships is how long it's going to be until they might be usable or at least viewable in the hangar where you can like walk around and see them and stuff like that. But maybe before I ask you that, it's probably worth talking about how there are art NFTs right now that are selling for like tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands of dollars that will never have any utility at all.
Millions.
Millions of dollars that will have no utility. And like when I was looking at like the Genesis NFTs, which I bought a handful of, it's like they are beautiful art pieces that are gonna keep value just because of like the cool augmented reality aspects and the soundtracks, which are so beautiful and stuff like that. So talk about maybe the ships just as NFTs first, and then we'll get into when and how they're going to be usable.
Yeah, I mean, most of us don't have crystal balls, right? And can read tea leaves and understand the future. But if we did, and we understood the information from, I'm just going to put a name out there, Star Wars, way back when, right? Would you, and let's just say Star Wars also had the ability to, create in-game assets, right?
Yeah.
Would you have bought in-game assets from Star Wars 25 years ago? You probably spend that instead of buying the laser. Remember the laser discs? You ever buy laser? Yeah. I'm old enough where the laser discs were like a thing, right? Like a big gigantic CD.
Yeah.
Right. I can't speculate on what these posters are. The Rebirth posters are going to be 50 years from today. But that was literally the first generation of Rebirth posters.
Yeah.
I can say that because that's a fact.
Yeah. Yeah.
In-game assets, like first wave comes out tomorrow. Your first kiss, you still remember it? Maybe.
Yeah.
It's that sort of thing, right? So with these in-game assets, I mean, it's the first of first. Not even looking at it from a perspective of like, when can I go buy it, right? It's kind of like it's the first one. Now, when can people utilize it? When can they start, earning, play to earn these mechanics? It's going to be during the ship configuration portion, right? And that's upcoming. So ship configuration are things like you'll be able to view all your ships, the ship parts that you purchased in your player inventory. It's going to be a much more robust way to interact with your inventory. You can configure your ships by outfitting them with different parts and crew. There'll be now more ship packages to purchase on the marketplace. Of parts that are going to all work together for specific purposes and missions, right? So things like power, range, durability, specifications, all of this is going to be in your dashboard, easy to understand what you have going on there, right? After that, we're gonna drop into ship missions, and that's when the play to earn more gaming mechanism is going to happen in our in-browser minigame, right? And that's when things are going to get interesting because you get to actually activate your in-game NFTs. When that happens, we're scheduled, right? We're scheduled. This is a technology again that we're trying to come out with the best experience possible, right? We could probably already come out with ship missions like tomorrow, but it's not going to be the best thing. It might break down. There might be this. So we want to make sure that quality is the best possible that it can be. So, I could say it's going to be in a range between the end of October to November. Might be a place where you'll be able to do the ship missions. Might be sooner.
Wow.
And we're working all the time to make it sooner, but I think that's a pretty fair timeline.
Wow, it's crazy. Because of how beautiful the art is in Star Atlas, kind of in my mind, I've been assuming, it's probably going to be one of the last games that we get something playable for. But it sounds like if you guys actually can launch a minigame this year, it will be one of the first playable experiences on the blockchain. Which, with how ambitious the in-game is, also keeping this quality up and launching something so soon, I just how are you guys moving faster than everyone else?
People, people and making hard decisions quickly. Right. So there's a lot of hard decisions to make because, if we don't do one thing, it has implications around something else. Right. So the critical path to success that we're looking at right now and mapping out our strategy and go-to-market strategy, our bring to game to life strategy, is one that includes how can we bring the most value to the community At the same time, allow them to begin earning, and at the same time, not put on the Unreal Engine game at risk, right? All of that, at the same time, understanding how we can move the logic and the game that's going to be delivered in the mini game over to UE5, right? Because we want those experiences and that gameplay to be transferred over to the UE5 version. That's not an easy feat, right? And so there's a lot of details that goes into this. Yeah. The other part is we're also thinking about, why some people have asked us, why put in so much effort and time into building out the in-game mini browser experience when you're just going to end up, going over to Unreal Engine 5 and everyone's going to want to play that.
Yeah.
Most people would probably prefer to go play the UE5 experience. However, not everyone has the means and the hardware to do so, right? So what we want to do is create this dual experience where in one path, like we address people who have less availability to get ready for a UE5 experience, and they still get to take advantage of everything that Star Atlas is. And then people who have the means to buy their rigs and go as far as buying these like chairs that are simulators that you can move around and pretend like you're flying in a ship. $5,000, $10,000 rig, cool, experience that. But we're building this for the world. We want more people to be a part of this and not less. That makes sense.
Yeah, and I love the strategy you guys are going with building the mini game while waiting for the Unreal Engine 5 game, because that development's obviously going to take a lot longer. But by creating the mini game, by like making it a clear that like utility for these NFT assets and actually adding gameplay mechanics where you can start earning Atlas and stuff like that as a player of games who's excited for blockchain gaming, makes me so much more excited to buy some of these assets, because I know I don't have to wait until the full Unreal Engine 5 game is out before I can actually start utilizing them. So yeah, I'm a fan of that strategy. I'm glad that you guys are prioritizing giving these NFTs utility as quickly as you can.
Yeah. I mean, that's definitely one aspect of it. Also, think about with Rebirth. I mean, we thought honestly that a lot more people were going to, I'll just use the word, like just walk away from them after the drop, after the reward drop, but that's not the case. People like it. They want to be able to have something that is, yes, we're going to have utility in it. Tier holders are going to continuously have more, preferences as we continue to roll them out into the future, but it's also the first of first. And so, this entire year, you're going to see us drop the first of these ships that are going to come out. And so we're really excited about all the different manufacturers that we have, the different categories of ships, the different sizes of ships, to kind of begin, realizing this digital world that we're putting together.
Yeah, that's so cool. All right, so when I was looking at the shop, I was also seeing there were some skins available for these ships. Are those launching tomorrow as well? Or are they already for sale? People are already trading them from the Genesis of a Metaverse drop?
Yeah. Tomorrow they'll be available as well. We're also going to be dropping some limited edition skins out there.
Okay.
You'll hear about it either tonight or tomorrow. But yeah, there's going to be some super rare skins being dropped.
That there will never be more waves of.
Yes.
Of those same skins. That's cool.
Correct.
Yeah. As someone who's a big fan of League of Legends, and there were some like rare League of Legends skins for characters that were only available at like certain events that you attended in person, and they were the only like real rare skins in League of Legends, but literally like people would sell their accounts with that skin for like $15,000 and stuff like that. And it was against terms of service, but it was just so rare and so desirable. And it like some of the best players of those champions use that skin. And yeah, definitely that rarity factor as player base grows can do powerful things to the value of an asset. So that's really exciting.
Yeah, and I think what's really exciting too is, if we think of where we're going to be a year from now,
Mm-hmm.
the people who know about Star Atlas and who are following us and believe in what we're doing, like, just imagine where this is going to be a couple of years from now.
Mm-hmm.
Like, even people who get in tomorrow, who just find out about us tomorrow, or even just find out about us in December,
Mm-hmm.
like,
Yeah.
this is like the first group of people that have learned about Star Atlas,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah.
Because millions of people are going to know about us.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was just reading an interview last night from some developer of a game called Mythic that's working on Blancos, and he was making it so clear in that interview that this is year one of blockchain gaming. Like, this is the very, very start of it all. And like, if you believe that blockchain gaming is the future, like if you believe that, and you believe that Star Atlas is one of the most promising projects, um, then I mean, yeah, you got to make your own financial decisions. But there's a lot of opportunity here and a lot of possibility. Um, all right. So did you have anything more you wanted to share about the Galactic asset offering? And if not, I have like one final question to close us out.
Yeah, no, I do, but I much rather, keep the excitement up for tomorrow. I mean, it's going to be another massive
Mm-hmm.
milestone for us. And again, we couldn't be here without the community.
Mm-hmm.
So, it's been an amazing ride, and yeah, we're just getting started. Like, honestly, I can't wait until we can start sharing a lot more of just our Unreal Engine 5. Like, if we could share with you guys, and like, you'd be like, oh my God, like, this is but the reason why we're keeping a lot of stuff like behind the curtains is because there is a process to this stuff. Like, we know who
Mm-hmm.
we are, right? Like, we don't
Mm-hmm.
have to come out and say, hey, we do have this, we do
Mm-hmm.
have this, we are,
Mm-hmm.
like, we know who we are, we know where we are against our roadmap, against
Mm-hmm.
our plans,
Mm-hmm.
right? And we also know what it takes to deliver high quality every single time,
Mm-hmm.
every time.
Mm-hmm.
And every time there is any sort of, like, suboptimal experience, when you can't, the claiming button is not showing up on the marketplace,
Yeah.
to, the ticker countdown number is off by a day, right? Every time that happens, like, we just make sure it doesn't happen again,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
And thank God that universe, that the community is not, they don't throw too many tomatoes at us.
Mm-hmm.
But we really have this high um, benchmark for quality, and we try to do that with everything. So, we appreciate everyone being patient.
Yeah. All right. So thanks so much for joining. I guess my final question is just like, as a co-founder of the Star Atlas team, what has you most excited about the medium term, like 6 months to a year? Like, what is really making you excited to wake up every morning being a part of this team?
Yeah, I can't wait to do this at a live event somewhere where
Yeah.
thousands of Atlassians are.
Mm-hmm.
And, it's a conference where the guilds have their experiences and their booths, and the guilds are recruiting people,
Mm-hmm.
and we're having private parties that we're having them in the analog world, and also just virtual VR headspace.
Uh-huh.
Um, Really, like, getting to know more about the people. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I love meeting you. I love
Mm-hmm.
meeting leaders of guilds. I love meeting the community.
Yeah.
And that's what has me exciting, is the community. It's building with you,
Mm-hmm.
right? Whatever it is that is your passion, if you want to apply that to Star Atlas,
Mm-hmm.
like, that's the biggest gift ever,
Yeah.
right? That's what really drives me every morning, is like, how can we continuously create an environment where it's going to create more value for the community? Because if we think about those things, then not only is there a space for long-term planning, but also a place where everyone wins, and
Mm-hmm.
it transitions from play to earn to play to own.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That's where we're headed,
Yeah.
right? It's not just about earning, It's about also being a part of owning this,
Yeah.
right? And that comes from building together, right?
Mhm.
You have a podcast, you're covering Star Atlas. Who knows? Maybe a year from now, you have your own planet, your own station, your own XM radio,
Mhm.
right? With 50 other podcasters
Yeah.
covering only Star Atlas news. Holy
Yeah.
cow. The Interstellar Alliance just took down, Rome. Don't get mad at me, guys. I'm
Yeah.
not projecting here the future. And did you guys see that battle? Right? And there's someone literally covering games.
Yeah. Well, and honestly, that's such a great idea as well, because there are going to be battles where millions of dollars of real world value, it goes up in the smoke. If there is, I guess there's probably smoke of some kind in space.
Yeah, who's going to be, the MTV of Star Atlas,
Yeah.
right? Where there's a real world, come check out my crib, but my crib is a digital penthouse,
Yeah.
the $10 million penthouse at the main station.
Yeah.
Who's going to do the interview of the owner who owns that and
Yeah.
walk us through all the rooms and everything that's in that place?
You can film for virtual reality as well, so that if people have
100%.
headsets, they can watch the YouTube video in VR and actually look around in the penthouse, stuff like that.
I met a guy who we're excited to be collaborating with him because he's all in his world, and so when you're all in on all in, anything is possible. Like when people are all in on all in and you want to do this, right? The next thought is how can we provide more resources so you can execute your vision?
Yeah.
Because this is not about like, what is Star Atlas's vision? Everyone corrals around that. This is about like, we all have unique, individual, fractionalized visions, but collectively we're going to move this forward and we're going to get to our North Star.
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, man, like, why are we all doing this? Right? Like, truly think about that. Like, what's really here? What are we really building? And it's, I think from us, like, we're building this digital world because we're not satisfied with our current state of the state. And that's from government to politics to society. Yeah. Right. And so, we're even having conversations here of like, well, even from, it's my daughter. How can we like have, how can we save trees, man, and save the ocean, right? From what's going on in Star Atlas.
Yeah.
Although the digital world is going to expand, right? That inner expansion that Jason Silva talks about. We also want to, take those rewards and apply it to places where our kids are going to be, hanging out at. Right. And that includes the rainforest, the oceans, the mountains, this sort of thing. These are the things that are happening with us internally as Star Atlas. We're focused, eyes on the prize. Tomorrow is the Galactic asset offering. After that, we are talking about water and plants, and doing good things while we are building out the digital space. I know I'm kind of went off on a tangent there, but this is the broad strokes that are important to us.
Yeah. No, thanks for sharing that. It's important to get the bigger perspective of like why this vision is so cool and so exciting. And as people on Earth, like we can escape into cool realities and build incredible things. Also, we need to take care of our current planet to ensure that we have the sustainability long term. But I really appreciate you, Pablo, coming and joining to talk about the Galactic asset offering and all the cool stuff that Star Atlas is working on. Do you have a Twitter that people can follow you on? And definitely also, guys, there's a ton of links to Star Atlas, like the actual store, the website, the trailer. All those links are in the description. But where can people follow you?
Yeah, thanks. So Twitter, it's Pablo I Quiroga. Okay. Probably just drop the link here on the YouTube video.
I'll add the link to the description.
Yeah, or you can just search me as Star Sapa. So that's Star S-A-P-A. Star Sapa. Sapa is actually a Quechua word, and it refers to the bringer of light. So it's this nobility of light, and that's something that's always just been a thing for me, is around light. If you looked at my LinkedIn profile, it says light warrior. You know, the light is good, and sometimes you have to fight to protect the good. So yeah, you know, exciting times at Star Atlas. Really excited about the community that's rallying around us, and everyone that will be coming and being a part of Star Atlas in the future. So
cool. I just dropped your Twitter link in the chat, so people can go click that and follow you there. Also,
Appreciate
guys,
it.
follow Star Atlas as well.
Yeah. Last thing, you know, if any ideas, anything you want to, you know, chat about, whoever's out there, you know, drop a DM. We're here to build. We're here to build with you. We're here to listen to you, whether it's positive or negative, whatever it is. It's all useful information. And definitely hang out at Discord. Santi, big shout out to Santi. Big shout out to Mate, to Sylvia, you know, AJ. This is the crew who's working in marketing and communications and research. And so, you know, we have a good understanding of the state of where the community is. And but we're always learning, you know, every single day people want to learn more information. So if you help us understand what you're most interested in, then we can develop those you know, those assets or that information, so you can digest it and make the best decisions on how you want to interact with Star Atlas.
Cool. Well, thank you guys so much for watching this interview. If you enjoyed it, there's almost 430 people watching. There's not that many thumbs up, so make sure you guys drop thumbs up on this video, and it will continue to get spread by the YouTube algorithm, and more people can learn about this before the drop, which is like 23 hours away now, so not long. And then if you're not subscribed to this channel yet, what are you doing? Make sure you hit subscribe and click that notification bell. This channel, On-Chain Gaming, is dedicated to the future of the metaverse, play-to-earn gaming, gaming with real ownership on the blockchain, what I really believe is the future, and I would love if you would join us for this journey. We're going to continue to talk about Star Atlas a lot on this channel, so if you're excited about Star Atlas, then you definitely want to make sure you're subscribed. So thank you so much, Pablo, and best of luck tomorrow. I think it's really exciting, and I cannot wait to see this game in Unreal Engine eventually.
Power to the people.
Yeah. All right. See you, everyone.